It's incredible how quickly my mentality shifted from just like watching out for myself to everything is my wife and my family now.
Welcome. Today's guest is talking about stepping into the next chapter of his life. With me today is David Salgado, the newest attorney at Perez Law Group. Welcome, David.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. So, David, tell us, how does it feel to go from the Florence Project to now private practice?
I mean, it's a huge change. Certainly, there's a lot of differences. I think just the work that we were doing in the Florence Project was just so focused on such an international scale, right? And to now shift it to being a lot more local takes some getting used to, but I find that it has some things that are making me feel really invested with the work, because it's really cool to be able to go home and tell my wife, hey, you know what? I'm helping this guy who he got into a wreck 2 minutes up the street from like where I used to live, or like right off of that exit where I used to go to see my girlfriend, now wife. And so it's nice to be able to connect in that way. So that's a positive difference.
So my sister, Sabrina, also started off at working at the Florence Project in the children's division.
Yes.
What division were you in?
I was in the detention action response team, which essentially is the main on-ground team who's like interacting with the majority of immigrants that are coming to the country.
Okay. And what does that mean? What did you do?
So what I would do is that I would go into the detention centers, and I'm the one that's doing like the large scale orientation of people who are coming in and seeking some kind of relief from removal. So a lot of these people, there's a huge power dynamic in where they're expected to kind of come here and be able to present a full case on their behalf. And, you know, if you take any kind of look into what immigration law is, it's incredibly complex and overwhelming. And to put that expectation on someone to just be able to articulate their arguments, you know, collect the evidence that they need to support those arguments, and then present them in front of a judge over an actual government attorney, it's insane. And so our job was to just get in there, orient them, help them put together their applications, get that evidence, do representation, things of that nature.
And how long were you with the Florence Project?
I was there right out of law school up until 2025, actually.
And you graduated law school at what year?
I graduated in 2022.
2022, and then you passed the bar and
Yes.
became an attorney in what year?
Also, 2022 just in itself was a crazy year. Let me just tell you.
Okay.
2022, like you said, I graduated law school. I moved back to Arizona, took the bar, and then my wife, God bless her, she was like, David, I really want to get married. And so I was like, I'll get married once I pass the bar.
So
and
she told you, hey, I want to get married?
She told me I want to get married. I'd already proposed, so we were already engaged at this time.
So it wasn't like she gave you like a drop dead and like, hey.
No. So I'd already...
Shit or get off the pot.
Exactly.
No.
We were... Never heard that before. But we were engaged, and she told me, okay, David, I believe in you, but like, what if you don't pass the bar the first time? Am I just going to be like waiting for another like 6 months every time until you? So I was like, okay, that's fair. So took the bar, we got married like a week or two after. And then we were getting ready to go on our honeymoon. And that's when I got a call from the Florence Project saying, hey, we want to offer you a position, which was great because now I'm like, I can actually enjoy my honeymoon because I have a job.
You can afford it.
I can afford it. Yeah, exactly. So everything in that year was just so crazy how it worked out.
Where'd you go on your honeymoon?
We went to the Dominican Republic.
That's where I went.
No way.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
because it's all inclusive. And
that's why we went. That's why we went.
So we went where? Do you remember the name of the hotel?
We went to Cap Cana, I think is what it was called. I think it was through Costco. Shout out Costco. Really like Costco. I got like a $200 gas gift card back like when I came home, which I mean at that time gas was crazy. So yeah, very worth it.
So I don't remember the name of where we stayed, but it was a big place, and it was just great. So we had a wonderful honeymoon too, but it was the all inclusive did get us. And at the time, Dominican Republic was super cheap. So it was like,
Yeah.
it was in our budget
Yeah.
like 20
Yeah.
years ago. So I was like, oh,
And those
okay.
all-inclusives are pretty nice. I mean, for me, I like to think I'm not a lightweight, and so when we got there, the drinks
Lightweight
were
as in
included.
alcohol?
As in alcohol, right?
Ah.
And so when we got there, you know, they said
We're learning so much about David in such a short amount of time.
well,
Tell us
you
more,
know,
David.
Yes. When we got there, I told myself, you know what? Surely, because the drinks are included, they have to be diluted or something, right? So here I am, like 12 drinks in at this point. They're not diluted. I actually, this is really embarrassing, but that first night, our first night of the honeymoon, I've never like thrown up because of like drinking or anything like that. I don't like the idea of throwing up. So
Okay.
I forced myself not to. But I was just like right by the toilet. I felt horrible that first night of our honeymoon. I felt so bad. My wife, she said, I am not sleeping alone on the first night of our honeymoon. So she puts a pillow down next to the toilet for
No
both
way.
of us, and we spend the night right next to the toilet together. So she is
That
so
is love
sweet.
for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah, I'm very.
So in the bathroom, you guys just kind of like,
Yeah.
just
Yep.
posted
just
up shop
posted
and just
up
slept
shop
in the
on the toilet. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
honeymoon. You end up passing the bar, Florence Project, and you are with the Florence Project for how many years?
I'm there for 3 years.
3 years. And then you started thinking about this because I know like you've told me the story.
Yeah.
You started thinking about, it's time for like a move. Something's telling me I need to go. You were having a baby.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we were.
And you decided, okay, I'm going to start kind of looking.
Yes. So I had that. I was like very open to it. I hadn't like actually intentionally been, you know, like applying like actively things like that. And the way that, you know, we actually tee up to where I even met you
Yeah.
and all of the team in Perez Law, it's kind of crazy because I'm going to say like for most of my life, personally, and certainly professionally, things just never really made sense, like how they worked out. I remember that I was, you know, like you said, we were expecting our first child, and you know, I went with my wife to every appointment that we had, and so throughout all of that, we kind of started realizing that there might be some potential for like health complications for my wife and for my future child as well, and so we were really pressed about that. And so we did what anybody in our position would do is we prayed about it, and then we went to Chick-fil-A to go get some breakfast. Like, we just got to decompress. And so we did that. And I ended up running into a friend of mine. His name was David Reese. And I knew him from when I worked in information technology at GCU. That's what my background is. And I hadn't seen him since 2019. So it'd been about 5 years at the time. He says hello, and I very uncharacteristically just kind of blow him off because I have so much going on in my head. Even afterwards, I thought, oh my God, I was such a jerk. Like, why would I do that? I end up running into him later once baby is born and my wife is healthy, baby's healthy, all good on that front. But I run into him again, and he invites us to his church. And so we go to his church, and they tell us that they're having an event at Bel Air Golf Park. They're doing a trunk or treat, and you know, we have a kid now, so we're like, this will be so cute. We'll dress her up as this little black cat, and we'll be her entourage. Myself, my wife, my two sisters, they're wonderful tias. We were there just to kind of, you know, do the event and kind of see the new church that we were going to, and then we decided to just kind of keep on going. And so we saw the different trunks, and we run into Perez Law Group. We pull up to the trunk, right, and I think I just kind of casually interact, grab some candy, and then we just kind of move on.
And you left.
We left.
Yes.
We left.
And then I had a conversation. You may not know this, but I had a conversation after you left.
Really?
Yes. And I think it was either with Sophia or with Hope at the time. And I said, I think that young man dressed up as a cat is a lawyer. And
really?
Because I think something was, I go, and I think someone said something, I go, I think he speaks Spanish. And so
Es verdad.
Es verdad. And then, but I'm like, I think that's what I heard. And then you came back, right?
Yes, yes.
So what made you come back? Did you come back for more candy or for swag? Yeah. Like, what was the answer?
No. What the honest answer is that my wife, my better half, she actually told me, she's like, David, I think you should I think you should talk with them. Like, we've been kind of thinking about maybe this is a chance for us to move into something else. And I was really reluctant to it because, I mean, it's a family event. It's not like a networking thing. We're dressed up as cats. And so I'm just like, I don't know if this is the appropriate time to do this. And she was like, David, you know what? You literally have nothing to lose. You just let them know. Worst they can say is that they're not hiring or they're not interested, whatever. And so I listened to her. Most of the good things that have happened are because I've listened to, my wife or my mom, my family, everything like that. And
behind every successful man is a great woman.
True that. That's a fact right there. But she convinces me to go back, and that's when we start talking. And yes, I tell you.
And you actually came back and you happened to speak with me, right? It was
I think
it was me
to.
at that point.
Yeah.
And I didn't waste any time
No.
to ask you. After like speaking, I think it was like maybe 2 minutes. And I think I liked the fact that you were dressed up as a cat and your daughter was a cat and you had a newborn with you.
Yeah.
And your whole family was supporting, this baby, and it was really cute. And so I was like, you know what? Why don't you send me a resume?
Yes. Yeah. That caught me by surprise.
Well, send me did it?
Yes,
Why?
it did. I mean, I don't know. I thought you were just going to maybe send me to like, I don't know, an application portal or something like that. But...
So usually I have gatekeepers that handle all of that stuff, but because you were able to, like, because you got to speak to me and I was able to kind of see a glimpse of your like personality, right? And the fact that you were at the Florence Project and my sister had done the Florence Project,
right.
The fact that you had a newborn, that you guys were it was just cute. I said, send me your resume. And I remember the look on your face. You were kind of shocked, not sure. You kind of like, really? I'm like, send me and I rattled it off because I never carry a card. I'm awful with carrying cards.
I still remember. I think you like calls up here, like, just give me a card right now. And yes, I remember that. It was
either Sophia or Hope, one of the two. And I was like, hey, can you give me a card? And here's our email. Just see Perez, send me your resume. And then I think it took about maybe
it did take a while.
Why did it take a while?
That's a great question.
That is a great question. Why did it take you so long to send your resume, David? Tell us.
Well, if you must know, I think I was very just unsure, like what we were going to do, what our appropriate next step was going to be, and that's just because at the Florence Project there were. Again, it's a nonprofit organization, and so we rely a lot on, there's private donors, but there's also like funding. But then there were issues where like that government funding got shut off, and so
during that time,
right during that time, and so my job was kind of like always uncertain, like if I was going to have that. But I was like, I've been here a long time. I don't want to just throw in the towel, like, but I need to think about my family now. It's incredible how quickly my mentality shifted from just like watching out for myself to everything is my wife and my family now. And so I'm trying to balance like what is the right decision to do here. And so I was just really unsure. And I think the biggest thing was probably that being in immigration, I just didn't really see how there could be a transition to personal injury. But I think what ultimately made me finally decided is we were in California actually, and I was talking with my wife's family and all that, telling them about the opportunity. And I just kept coming back to, you know what, I really, really liked the people that I met. Like for me, I mean, I didn't know a lot about personal injury, but I know people. And I really enjoyed being able to talk to you, being able to meet Sophia, being able to meet the rest of the team as well.
We have a really good team.
It's a really good team, and it shows immediately. And so I was like, you know what, even if I don't know the subject area, I know that I think I can be a part of this community, and I think that I can grow with this, and I can come to really enjoy being here. And I have, for the last, what is it, maybe
how long has it been now?
I don't know. It's been like maybe 6-7 weeks, I think now.
Whoa, you're like a veteran already. 7 weeks.
7 weeks. And so that was it.
So that was in October where we had our trunk or treat. You sent me your resume sometime in November. We ended up meeting sometime in either November or early December.
Yeah.
And then we said, yes, let's take a chance. I said, I know you don't know the subject area, but you can train under me.
Yeah.
You'd be the fifth attorney at the firm. and you would have the opportunity to learn about pre-litigation and litigation with with an emphasis on litigation. And as long as it took, right, we would work this out together, because everyone in the firm has about, I think maybe I'm the youngest. No, I think I'm have the least experience out of the firm, of the attorneys that are in the firm, and I have 16 years, right? Or 16 or 17 years, 16 years. And so when they came over, they already had the experience. So we're like, okay, this is going to be a new experience, like something new. We're going to have to train. We're going to have to learn. We have to work together. I'm not the easiest person to work with. I'm sure after the 7 weeks that you've been. Well, we'll ask him in the hot seat. Look at Sophie. Look at that. And so then you decided to take a chance. I know you were on paternity leave, and we were like, okay, well, let's start. And we're going to start, what was the date? Was it January?
It was the first Monday of the year.
Yeah.
So January 2nd, 3rd, something like that.
Whatever that Monday was, you started.
I felt that, just after having that interview, which, by the way, I'm going to say the verbiage in the email that you sent me was actually a little confusing to me, because I think I didn't want to clarify.
What does that mean?
It means that when you said, let's set up something next week to have a conversation. You used the word a conversation.
What would you have liked me to use?
I don't know, an interview? Like I thought you were screening me.
I had already interviewed you at Bel Air Golf Course.
Well, I didn't know that. I mean, I literally.
You do realize that, right?
No, well, now I do.
Well, because of the channels. Because at the channels, you would have had, like, to get a job at the office, you would have had to go through like the front desk, then hiring, which is Sophia and Hope. Then a phone interview, and then like a person interview with me, with them, and then with me. Yeah. So you basically circumvented that whole step to get into the office, right? And you circumvented it and just met me. So when I met you, I was like, let's have a conversation. I'm already okay. You've basically moved along that line. So if you're so that wording,
I mean, my wife will tell you, I was in like mental turmoil the night before, because I was like, okay, if it's just a screening, should I pull up in my full suit? Because that kind of feels like a little too much. But I'm like, if it's an interview, I need to wear my suit. And I was just so torn. I was like, you know what? Let's default to just coming fancy. You can't go wrong with that. And prepared for it like if it was an interview. And then so when you came in, you're like, here's like 3. It was you, it was Sophia, it was Alice. And I think that was it. Yeah, 3 people talking to me about the position. I was very happy that I defaulted to the being suit, more prepared to the suit, to being prepared. Did you think
that I just wanted you to come over for coffee and be like, hey,
I just
wear your jeans and sneakers and your baseball cap, bro?
I thought it was going to be more of like, let me see if like vet you, see if like you're a good fit for this company. And then I fully was expecting let's do this interview, let's do the next interview. And then let's finally I didn't realize that is what had happened.
So I tend to work a little different. I'm a good judge of character when it comes to people. And I'm very cautious of who I let into our circle and who I let into our work environment, because I strongly believe that when you work with people, that you spend most of your day, you spend more time with your people you work with than usually at home, right? Yeah. And so it's important to have the right fit. But because I'm such a good judge of character when it comes to most people, I have been wrong on a couple of occasions, but with most people, I follow my gut. And so when I met you, I saw this young kid, new dad, devoted family man, right? And those are all values that I share. I love that. Yeah. And so I said, wanting to pivot, unsure if this was the right fit, but knowing that there's so much more potential in the field that we're in, right? In personal injury than immigration. And the Florence Project, because Florence Project is great work. Yeah. It is rewarding work. It is not work that pays well. And I knew that you were at a crossroad in your life where you needed to think about your family, and you needed to, move forward in your career financially.
Yeah.
And so that's why when I heard that, and the fact that my sister did the same job starting out, I knew that you would have the ability to care about people
Yeah.
and care about their outcome and the service that you provide.
Yep.
And it's not about the money, right? And that's something that I've always thought about. Like, it's not about the money for me. I don't do what I do because of the money.
Right.
It's a great add-on that, and I think that's why God has blessed us, because I've always stayed true to my values, where it's the work comes first, clients come first, and then any financial remuneration will come in, right?
Yes.
So that's kind of where. And so I thought, okay, here comes this kid, and not kid, but here comes a young man.
Yeah, come on.
Who's old enough to be my son, right? So it's like, here comes this kid. And I'm like, you would be a great fit because you have the ability to, if you put the work in, because it's hard work, then you'd be able to advance in that area. Plus you spoke Spanish, and I think that's such a valuable tool.
Yes, it is. I think that being bilingual as well. I mean, Spanish is not my first language, and I owe that to my mom, actually. Not being my first language, but also she's also the reason why I ended up learning Spanish, because I think I was in maybe 4th grade, I want to say, and I went to a public school pretty much all my life, and so at my elementary they had a Mexican day. They just served us like rice and beans. They were just like, there you go, Mexicans. and they had some Spanish classes that they taught as well, right? And I remember just not really getting it. And I came home and told my mom, like, hey, I don't think I'm ever going to learn Spanish. And she's like, ¿Cómo que no vas a hablar español? And she just, from that moment on, she just spoke Spanish to me. And she was like, David, like, this is for your own betterment. There's going to come a time where you being bilingual is going to make a positive impact in your life and in your career. And like so many other things, she was right about that.
There's that smart woman behind the successful man.
Yes, absolutely.
And, when we said, hey, David, yes, we'd like you to come in and work with us. It wasn't all rainbows, right? And rainbows and cotton candy. It was also a risk that we were taking, because we knew that there's a young attorney who doesn't have the experience, who's going to need to be trained, who's going to need to learn this job, who may hate it, because there's good and bad to personal injury. And there's good and bad to the stakes. Some people can't handle the stress that comes with some of the cases that we handle, or can't handle the in and outs, day in and day out, of having to see all the things that we see and not bring that home.
Right.
So that was a risk that we were taking. I think so far it's been working out. Tell us, how do you feel? Please tell one of your team leaders, how do you feel about your move from?
I have no doubts. I have no regrets. No, it's
like a fourth answer.
No, I think you're right. I think, I mean, it would be, just untrue for me to just say that like there weren't concerns that I had about making this kind of shift, a whole new area of law. But I think that once I thought about it more, there are a lot of parallels to, what immigration work was and what personal injury work is as well. I mean, it is incredibly burdensome, like, just the amount of work that you're taking on, the emotional baggage as well of dealing with people who are being harmed. I mean, day in and day out, my days were filled with just, I'm going to die because of this. Like, I'm being persecuted for these reasons, all of these stories of like horrible things people have gone through. And initially there, like, it was really hard to reconcile how to deal with this, how to not let it creep into my personal life, like how to manage this kind of workload. But ultimately it was just like leaning on my friends, leaning on my wife, leaning on my faith as well, that really allowed me to just realize, I can do these things. It's going to be hard. I'm not saying it's always going to be easy, but as long as I keep things in perspective, I can do all these things. And that's kind of how it's been with personal injury as well. I mean, there's certainly a lot of things I don't know.
And you're learning quick.
I'm learning. Yes. And that's no thanks short to, or no less for the amazing team that is supporting me. I mean, we have such amazing staff that are so patient with me and are able to explain things well. You out of your incredibly busy schedule, take the time to run through things with me And I mean, I still remember you just like a day or two ago, you were going through responses to defendant's discovery requests. And I remember I took so much time evaluating those, figuring out like, why is this here? Why is this not? And then in like a matter of seconds, you're like, no, overbroad, vague, and just like boom, boom, boom. And I was like, oh my goodness. So yeah.
But it was, so for those who are listening and don't know, so about, I don't know, maybe earlier in the week, probably like 3 days ago,
Yeah.
there were discovery responses that were due, and I reviewed them. And David is assigned to a particular team at the office, and I wanted the answers to review. And I quickly, when I saw them, I saw that the answers weren't complete to my liking, right?
It's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had an emergency meeting, which means you get in my office ASAP, right?
That did happen. Yeah.
That happened that day. And so we sat down and I said, okay, everyone bring this. And one of the things and you can say it, I know that I'm an intense person. Like, I am super intense when it comes to my work. You have now seen this.
I think it's just because you have a lot of passion behind it, and I think it's
See that
grounded.
answer?
It's grounded in like something real. I think like you're not mean. You're not like doing all these things. I don't think you are.
You don't think I'm mean?
I really don't think you are. No.
Woo!
I don't think you are. I think you have genuine passion, and that just is exemplified through like how you do your work, your expectations. I appreciate that sincerely.
That is a very PC answer, but I will tell you that I know that I am super intense, and I know that I'm like laser focused when it comes. I am also very distracted through everything that I have to deal with. Yeah. But when it comes to like work and I have to focus in, I'm like laser focused. And so with those discovery responses, I literally had all the three members of that team sit down in my office, and I said, we are going to print me out every single response and make copies for everyone so that we can all go. So it was the four of us. Yeah. I go, and we are going to go over these responses as I would answer and what I would expect you to do from the moment that you get these responses in your hand and who does what. And I want this followed every single time, and take notes because I don't want to have to answer. I don't want to have to repeat this process again. Yeah. And so we did. Responses went through, and very quickly on, you're right. So I looked through and I said, okay, this, answer this. This is overbroad. This is that. This is not a defined term. You have to go back, push back here. Don't give them 10 years. Give them 5 years. And I do remember looking over at you at one moment, and your eyes were so big. I was like, oh, I hope I'm not scaring him. I'm like, well, your eyes are like, you're like taking notes, and you're like, your pen was like moving so fast.
And was running out of ink.
It was like smoking. I'm like, what? I'm like, poor guy. Yeah. But I thought, and then Hanny, right? She was there too. So she was sitting she was sitting to your, to your right?
She was in the back.
No, she had moved over to the side.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, she was to my right. Yes.
Yeah, so she had moved over to your side, and she is just looking like she wasn't saying anything because Hanny's a legal assistant. She's there to collect all the documents and like contact the clients and so forth. And I just look over at everyone, at the three of you, and I said, hey, did this help you guys? Yeah. Was this something that helped you, or is this something that was not, I should do this differently next time? And I think it was a positive response.
No, it was. And I mean, even with like, we'll probably meet about this later today, but I mean, we have another meeting. We do have another meeting. Stay tuned. No. I mean, I went ahead and like I found it very helpful to print out the responses and actually go and physically like something about having like a tangible going through this, looking at it, making my notes to it. Like what emulating what you were doing was very helpful. And again, I sincerely do mean it. Like, you taking the time to show me exactly what is going on in your head,
in my brain,
is scary, but it's helpful, And because that's just something that everywhere that I've worked, when I was working at GCU, when I was working at the Florence Project, I mean, I'm one of just several people that are working at a large organization, right? And the Perez Law Group is smaller, right? It's more intentional. We have like a really tight, circle. And so you being able to get that kind of individualized attention, I think is just night and day difference from what I've experienced in the past. And I think I've learned so much more in a much shorter amount of time because of it.
Well, my goal in this whole thing is, I always say that I stand on the shoulders of giants, right? I would not have received some of the achievements or accomplished some of the achievements that I have if it wasn't for those who've looked out for me or checked over my work. And even though I was in my own practice, people who had their own practices would take the time out and talk to me, mentor me, and so forth. And so one of the things I wanted to do, because, you know, when you were coming on board, was not to throw you in your own island. Like when I started my firm, like when I started working for a bankruptcy firm, I didn't get any training. They literally sent me a caseload of 200 cases of bankruptcy clients, plus like 200 cases, plus I had new appointments scheduled every 30 minutes, like for every 30 minutes from 8 a.m. to like 5 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. 3 days a week. And one day I had to be on the phone and the other day was for work. Right. And so I was inundated, and it was during a time where like bankruptcy was just exploding. Right. And so I didn't want that. Like I would work till like 9 o'clock at night, and I didn't want that feeling for someone else. And so one of the things that I try to do, even though I know I can be a little eccentric or crazy at times because of work and what I think the service should be for the clients, was I don't want one of our team members to feel like they're lost in they're like left or lost on their own island. And so that's kind of why I do like these sometimes emergency meetings and stress everybody out.
No, and I appreciate it. And isolated has been the farthest thing that I felt. Like it's been, again, completely different. I think in my other jobs, I've certainly had moments like that as well.
Sure.
But that still has not happened at this time.
So now as being a lawyer and entering into personal injury, and with AI being AI,
right?
Do you see, like, how do you use it to help your practice? Are you using it to help your practice? Are you not? I mean, are you not telling me that you're using it? Like, tell me, like, what? Like, what do you? Because I know you have an IT background too,
right?
So, tell me, like, is that something that factors into how you practice?
I think it does. And I think that initially, like when these things first started coming out, I mean, I think there was kind of a sense of like in law school, I learned that I have to go through LexisNexis, I have to go through Westlaw, like I have to go through these established channels. Like this is the proper way to do legal research. But the more that I come to think about it, I think that there's just so much benefit to using AI so long as it's done responsibly. Right? I mean, certainly we're not going to plug in personally identifying information. Certainly we're not going to rely on it for legal conclusions and things like that. But even just like in these initial steps for me, right, to be able to kind of, plug in some questions, ask about things to kind of orient me like on what this like subject matter is, right? It helps me to have a better foundation to know like, this is where my head kind of should be. I'm not going to use these answers, but at least giving me a frame of reference.
And you should always check your answers.
Yes, because I've even encountered that as well. Like when you kind of asked me to be familiar with the Arizona Rules of Civil Procedure, right? I'm looking at these things and I was like, this number doesn't seem right. And, but it's nice to always be able to go back to the actual rule and realize, okay, it's not 40 days to respond to these discovery things. It's 30, right?
Well, it used to be 40 a while back, and then
I
they changed it.
And I think I didn't know why they was pulling that up, but yes, when I went to go look at it, I was like, okay, I'm glad I didn't just rely on that as well. But I think there's no denying that the applications of what AI is going to do to the legal field, I think of it a lot like what laptops or like computers were to when people still use typewriters.
Word
right?
processors.
Word processors. Is that, yeah. I mean, I think it's just at a certain point, like right now, it wouldn't be reasonable for an attorney to type up a motion on a typewriter, right? That's just not efficient for anybody. It's costly to the client. If like a motion that should take you maybe an hour or two is taking you 7 or 8. I think that eventually, like using AI is going to be kind of like expected almost to keep up with like efficiency, productivity, pass like savings on to the client and being able to do this work in a lot more timely way. Certainly there's still safeguards that need to be established, like ethical concerns that are coming along as well. But yeah, it's coming. And I think that as long as you are willing to learn it and to use it responsibly, I think you're going to be just fine. But if you're closed off to it, I think you're going to kind of get swept up with all the changes that are coming.
Sure. And David also helped me put together a presentation, which I still have not submitted. I do have to finish that,
Yeah.
which I'll be speaking at in Nashville coming up. So on
That's
AI.
like in a few,
I know.
like how many weeks? 1, 2, 2 weeks? 2
2
weeks?
weeks? Is it 2 weeks? Yeah, I'm giving a
2 weeks.
presentation on. So I do have to finish that up. Well, who's counting? We're going to
Yeah.
Nashville. All the girls are going. My dad asked me that because I was telling him that we had the Galentine's for all the PI ladies, and then we're all going to all the ladies are going to Nashville as well to go to this paralegal conference. And my dad goes, "What do the guys get?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I didn't ever think about that. I didn't think about that."
I don't know. I didn't have that thought at all. When I was sitting in the office with Steve and Jeff, I didn't
Chris,
think that.
the four guys.
And Chris, yeah. Well, Chris is in the annex.
In the annex, I know. We're filling up quick.
I didn't,
and then Isaiah too. We're all filling up.
That's
quick.
right, Isaiah's in there. Yeah. No, I didn't think about that at all.
So one thing I want to talk to you. Tell me about your first settlement. How does it feel?
Dude.
Tell us.
It was great. It was great. I did. This is breaking news. I got my first settlement.
You just got it.
Let's go. Yeah. First settlement. It was once you guys were all having fun and I was sitting in thoughts, not about the disparities or whatever. But no. I got a letter from the insurance company and I was reading it and this was for an incident where our client was driving northbound. This client made a left turn, when they shouldn't have, collided with them, and this person didn't have any insurance either, and so our client is relying solely on their uninsured motorist coverage, which, by the way, that's so crazy to me, if I may, just as
sure,
an
it's
aside,
a share. I want to know.
As a share, like the amount of people and just the limited exposure I've had that do not have like coverage.
Isn't that wild?
That are driving around without being insured.
Just willy-nilly.
Insane.
I know.
And touching on that, I mean, the importance of like uninsured motorists and underinsured, that's been really profound.
David, you're talking like a PI attorney. What's going on?
I know a few things.
Look at you.
But so in this situation, left turn when they shouldn't have, you got a collision, you got some injuries. And so they're relying solely on their, minimum policy, uninsured motorist coverage. And so me with the paralegal who was helping with the case, which
case manager,
case manager have been incredibly helpful as well. We put together that demand packet, we sent it out, and the insurance company hit us with we're going to tender policy limits on that, and I was like, whoa. That was crazy. I mean, it's minimum policies. It's $25K, but it doesn't matter. But it
feels
cool.
good. It's your first one, and you popped it out right out of like the gate.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
It was so. I think I told you this morning. I was reading through that email. I was like, that can't be right. They just right out of the gate. I went to Diana and I told her, hey, I just forwarded you this email. Can you make sure it means what I think it means? And it was so cool. It was so cool.
Congratulations. I'm very proud of you. When I heard that, I was like, good job. Good job, David.
Yeah. Thank you.
And that's just one of many to come. So
I'm excited.
You're excited. You should be excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yes.
So, well, we've come up to that time where I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay, fire round. So no, not too many thinking.
All right.
Oh no, before that, I want to find out. I didn't ask you this. So you've transitioned to PI.
Right.
Where do you see yourself in 3 years, or what's your goal in the next 3 years?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that ideally I would like to see myself kind of shift from, I think I'm very much in survival mode right now.
Okay.
I'm just like, I think I've described it to you before. It's like, I feel like I'm drowning with learning all these things. Like it's as good as somebody
it's like
can
you're like drinking out of a fire hose.
A fire hose, exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I have a lot of friends who are litigators as well. And one of them, her name is Bailey. She told me that it always starts off like that. It always starts off like that. But she's like, in a weird way, she's like, it kind of becomes addictive. Like, this is just kind of what you become to expect. And this is like kind of how you do things.
That's such a good way of describing
it. And I love her. She's really great. She works out in Washington doing litigation, and she's very smart, very smart. But so I'm really excited to go from the survival phase that I think I'm in to, maybe being able to use some of my personality, just like adding some life to my cases, moving away from just like focusing so much on like how things have to be, focusing on outlines and things like that, to eventually like moving to like actual implementation of strategy
Sure.
as well. Like, I've seen you do it. I see that like everything that you do is not, just random. It has a purpose, and those purposes have like sub purposes, and there's probably a Venn diagram somewhere in there. I don't know.
Usually in my head, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's always a purposeful question that I ask, especially
Yeah.
at a deposition. And you have had the opportunity to come to a
Yes.
couple depositions, seeing different styles.
Mm-hmm.
One, a deposition that I gave, and another deposition that was I defended.
You defend. Yeah.
And then you were able to check that out, and you're gonna give your first deposition coming
That
up.
is true.
I know. When is that scheduled for?
It's like middle of March.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. So
So my trial in California got canceled, so I'll be in the office all of March. So guess what? We get to practice. Yay!
Yeah, that's great.
David's like, oh. God.
No. I mean, I think that'd be my goal. I think like at the end of it, I mean, no matter how much experience I get, I think that I've always wanted to put people first, and always, practice with humility. So I would hope that no matter, how many wins we have in the future, no matter how many things that I learn, that like I'm still always going to be, that humble person that my parents have raised me to be, that my family expects me to be, my wife encourages me to always be. I just want to maintain that consistently throughout. That would be
that's a great goal, because it's easy to lose that humility, right? And so that's something that I value too. When it's to be humble about even like the wins. I mean, not that you celebrate your wins too, but to be humble about them, because at the end of the day, it's for the client.
Right.
Right. So if there's any advice that you can give to a newer attorney, thinking about either switching their path, or maybe thinking about entering into a different field, what would that be?
I think that my main advice would be to never short sell yourself. I know there were lots of moments, and that were evident in just how long it took for me to respond back to you, that there was a lot of self-doubt. My mom, my family, my community, everybody has always told me, you can do everything that you put your mind to. And so the only one that's stopping you is yourself. And so, I mean, I just think back at how many opportunities that I could have just disparaged, right? If I didn't want to take that step into, like, I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm going to find out. I'm not going to just close that door. I'm just going to trust that this is going to work out.
Okay.
That we're going to figure it out one way or another. And if not, things are going to work out.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I love that. Just one piece of advice I would give to you is stay hungry. One of the things that I saw in you is that you wanted to do more for your family.
Yeah.
And you knew that although it was rewarding work, it was time for a change, because you wanted to give them more, right? Yeah. Because you saw that this was, there's a time where finances make a difference, and working for a nonprofit is great, but it is financially draining for people, and energy draining as well. And so I would just say, stay hungry.
Yeah.
A lot of times in my life, I've had a case, and I've had a friend say this to me. I've had a case where it's like a 7-figure case settle, right? And we settle for well above 7 figures. And then I go back to the office and I start working on the next project. Yeah. And I have had a friend say, well, why aren't you celebrating? Why aren't you going out to dinner? Why aren't you like, let's go, what, why aren't you? And I'm like, it's just another day. Yeah. Right. I need to continue. I need to give the same attention to the next client.
Yes. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So that's all about being humble and like wanting to do the best for the clients, because they're always first.
Right.
So that would be my advice to you as you continue this, because it's really easy to gain an ego in this business. Yeah. Really easy to get full of yourself. And so that's one thing that it's like, what's one thing that I just try my hardest not ever to do or allow myself to become. So with that, lightning round questions. Ready? All right, here we go. Trial lawyer or deal maker?
You know what? Right now, I'm thinking I would like to do the trial lawyer thing. You're inspiring me to do that. It's exciting. It's a lot of work, but it seems exciting.
You like my ups and downs?
There's a lot of them.
All my F-bombs, yeah.
I think it looks cool.
Confidence or preparation? What matters more?
Preparation.
One skill you know you must master to become a trial lawyer.
Storytelling.
What scares you more, failure or mediocrity?
Mediocrity.
When was the first time you felt like a real lawyer?
Man, I think that probably the first time I got somebody released from detention. That was a really good feeling. I feel like I actually made a real impactful difference from their life.
Nice. What's one trait you hope your children inherit from you?
I want to say that humility as well, that servant heart as well. I would want my kids to always put other people first. That's other people are the reason why I'm here. And I really want them to always put people before themselves.
What's harder, patience or discipline?
I'm going to say discipline. Discipline.
Who are you trying to make proud?
Probably my daughter. My daughter. Eventually, we're hoping to at least have two. So either Adrian or Genevieve as well. Those are our potential future kids' names. So I think that the day that my kids are old enough to tell me like, hey, like, Dad, like, I'm really proud of what you do. I think I'm gonna cry a lot that day. That's what we're doing, and my wife, of course, my family, and my friends, and you know, they mean everything to me. Everything.
And so I think you already answered this. I'm going to ask you. This is the last question. If your children were to describe you, what are you hoping they would say?
I would hope that they would say that I don't know, that I'm a good person, somebody that they can feel proud of to call their father, somebody who has done meaningful work for other people, somebody who has made a difference in people's lives.
That's awesome. So in 5 years, we'll do this again.
Okay.
And we'll see where you are.
We'll see where we're at.
Well, with that, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.